Good evening, everyone, and welcome to 4C Web Connect. Where in today's meeting, we are going to have speaker, an amazing expert with us who is going to give us insights about the topic we have today, which is your guide to job hunting in Dubai. But before I begin, let me introduce myself. I am Sanaya Parker from 4C Integrated Communicators, and I will give you a little insight about what 4C Integrated Communicators is all about. 4C Integrated Communicators is a marketing agency, or what we like to call ourselves saying as an offsite marketing department based in Dubai. We are a 10 plus year old agency and we're still going quite strong. We support startups, SMEs, solopreneurs in managing their marketing function. So, in simpler words, those companies who don't have their own marketing department, we help them. That is from starting their business to getting their first client. A lot of the small businesses usually have a huge challenge when it comes to time, money, and effort, as well as people, which makes people often think that marketing is an expense and not an investment. And we are here to change that mindset. Here are the 4 C's, the C's that stand for our company. That is communication, creative spirit, collaboration, and client centric. Now, that is what all 4C is all about. But in case you do want to know more, you can go on social media, whether it's Instagram, whether it's Facebook, LinkedIn, just type 4C Integrated Communicators and you will find us. Now, the topic we have today is your guide to job hunting in Dubai, where you will be learning about essential preparation, skills, and strategies for success when it comes to getting a job in Dubai. The main agenda of the event is to create awareness about how to get a job so that you don't regret. How you'll be getting that is you'll be having an expert here who will guide you through the entire process when it comes to getting a job. And of course, through this entire webinar, you'll also be able to connect with the said expert. And this this webinar is beneficial for everyone who's looking for a job opportunity in Dubai, whether they're a graduate, whether they already have some work experience, or whether they're completely experienced in their field. We have a few house rules before we start the webinar. That is, all participants should be on mute. In case you do have any questions, you can either leave it in the chat box or we'll be having a question and answer session at the end of the webinar. Of course, to cheer up our presenter, we would like some claps, but since you're going to be muted, you can do it through emojis. And of course, no spamming. Now, I would like to call upon our presenter for today, which is Miss Preethi Seema D'Souza, and I would like to tell you a little bit about her. She is a co-founder and CEO of HR Orbz. She is an HR strategist, and her expertise is in talent acquisition and headhunting. I'm sure you all have heard the term work wife. Well, Miss Preethi is our work neighbor. She's right next to us. And of course, we have a very close relationship with HR Orbz, especially when it comes to celebrating a lot of events from Diwali to even Women's Day. And with that, I would like to call Miss Preethi onto the screen.
Thank you so much for introducing me. I'm really excited to share insights or my knowledge about the job search, how the job market is, how do we go for an interview and so on. So let me share my screen so that we can continue the discussion. Can you all see my screen?
Yes, but you need to make the screen bigger. Full screen.
Second. Oops.
Miss Preeti, you can just go to the corner next to where the Zoom um, scale is. There is a full screen option.
Hello, is it okay now?
Yes, it's okay now.
Okay, great. Okay, let me take you through the topics to discuss. So, understanding of the Dubai job market, and we're going to discuss about how do you have to prepare when you arrive in the UAE, and job search in the UAE, and essential things to keep in mind, interview preparation, salary package expectation and the market, documents that are mandatory, and lifestyle of an employee in the UAE. So these are the topics that we are going to cover. So what I would like to request you is to take notes of all this and keep your questions right at the end to answer. Or if you have to ask any particular question at that moment, please raise your hand so that we can, answer the question. Hope you're all ready. So let's see understanding of Dubai job market first. So growth industries and sectors. This is a key point when you want to understand the Dubai job market. You have to understand what is it required in the UAE, right? So for example, if you go to a restaurant, before you go to the restaurant, what you have to decide is what kind of a cuisine you have to eat, where is it good, and which chef cooks well. So we gonna connect that here. So when you are looking for a job, first understand what are the industries that are in a high demand in the UAE. So as we all know, technology and innovation has taken charge in today's market, right? So anything that we see is artificial intelligence, and anything that it has to be done is innovative. Like if you are different, then people look at you. If you are a different company and if you have unique talents, then it's highly likely that you will get through. Tourism and hospitality. Dubai is a hub, where a lot of tourists come in, and hospitality is the key to serve the tourist. hotel industry. So in the hotel industry, what is that you want to be? Like if you are a student in hospital management, or if you're a student with travel and tourism, having certification of IATA and other tourism related industry, then yes, this market is for you. Fintech, finance and fintech has taken a lot of hype in the market recently. Healthcare and wellness. Healthcare is an industry which never dies, right? So anything, any moment, everybody needs that one thing that will never subside. Wellness is what everybody is focusing currently. We made mental wellness or physical wellness, being fit. So that's what people are looking at. Sustainability, green energy. This is new where we are responsible to help the new generation with whatever sustainability and energy that we can set up, right? So this is all comes under growth industries and sectors. So identifying where your profile matches in this industry, where you can add value in the UAE for this industry, that is what you have to look for. And then understanding of the Dubai job market. The second thing, first is growth and industry oriented. Second is remote and hybrid work trends. So after COVID, we are all got adjusted working remotely or having this hybrid structure, right? Before COVID, we were like reluctant, even employer were reluctant whether the employee will perform or not, how ill the productivity be, and so on. So after COVID, it's kind of open market where, employer has gotten into that mindset where it's like, okay to work remotely, okay to have a hybrid model in the company. That is also, added value, right? When any employee works remotely, they tend to put an extra hour. It saves traffic, your hour or to transport and many things. And so that is, you have to be open to it. And that's a good plus point of being in the UAE. Increase focus on diversity and inclusion, right? So UAE is a city where you go to any company, there is a diversity, there is inclusion, feeling of belongingness is there. So you will be introduced to different cultures. You will be introduced to different traditions. So you have to understand that anywhere you go, the diversity is going to be there. Unlike, wherever we come from in our countries, it's more of our own people we see, but here you see employees or colleagues across the globe. Digital skill is in demand. So you have to be tech savvy and how to use digital platforms. So digital marketing, social media, these are trending these days. People make money out of YouTube channels, Reels, Instagram, TikTok. A lot of ways that people have come up with to have the meals, right? So in this digital marketing, that takes a lot attention for any company because the major focus is in there. That's where the revenue comes in. So if you have an expertise in digital marketing, then you are on demand. Professional networking and relationship building. So this is very, very important. So when in Dubai, if you are unsure about the job market, the Dubai market, how is it, what is it, why am I not getting a job? So try to attend networking events, try to build network relationship, go to meetups, and there are many ways where you can find out which companies are hiring, what can I do, where can I get through in, whom can I contact. So there are a lot of platforms that that are feasible that you can approach. And then let's see how to prepare for an arrival in the UAE. So a lot of you are based in India planning to come to UAE. So yes, you have to consider a lot of factors before you move in. Let's see what are those. One is understanding visa and residency requirements. So once you know, okay, this industry is in demand and I have the particular skill, I've got the supply that need to cater to this demand as a colleague or as an employee, and I can add value. Then the next thing you have to do is to plan your arrival. So you have to understand what are the visa requirements and what are the residency requirement in Dubai. So most of people, they just simply travel to UAE without knowing whether it's the right time for the recruitment or not.
आयो अभी जैसे आ गया जल्दी आज बॉस छोड़ दिया भाई आज बॉस छोड़ दिया
Ishan, can you please mute? Okay. So whether it's the right time or no, right? So some they land up in Ramadan, some they land up in the hot summer, some they land up in Christmas season. So these are the durations or periods that you have to avoid traveling to UAE if you are on a visit visa and looking for a job. So during Ramadan, the working hours are less, the recruitment would not be that effective as the other months. During summer, July, August, September, these 3 months, I would tell you to avoid traveling on a visit visa because not a lot of companies are open because most of the people they travel. It's hot summer. Some go for leisure, some go for holidays with kids because children have holidays these days. So recruitment is slow. And during Christmas season or a New Year season, again, a lot of people will be traveling, right? So the recruitment is at slow pace. So you would like to, if you are traveling for on a visit visa and looking for a job, March to June is what we suggest. If not, then October to November is what we suggest. Because from December to Jan, it's a holiday season, and when people are back from holiday, they have a lot of backlog to do. So recruitment would be at side for that time. And financial preparation, definitely now the UAE has introduced like you have to have certain amount with you when you have to travel, because you have to cater to your needs, right? So you will be coming here, you have to stay whether in a hotel or a room or at a friend's place. You have to look at transportation, right? If you are attending interviews, you have to go to multiple places. So how much money you have to have with you, how much you have to have for food, how much extra you have to plan this very well. So then only you will be able to come here and survive for 1 or 2 visa durations, because there might be times that you are on a visit visa for 2 months, you did not find a job, again you have to renew your visa. And if you want to extend, it's 1 month. If you have to go exit and come back, it's 2 months. But definitely, it affects the financial situation. So you have to be well versed with that and have enough cash in hand or in credit card to bear all these things in mind. And understanding health insurance. A lot of us do a wrong thing. Like when we come on visit visa, we don't have insurance inbuilt. So I would highly, highly recommend. So when you're coming here on a visit visa, apply for travel insurance. It's essential. Because you're not covered under any health insurance otherwise in the UAE until you get a job, until you get a health insurance from your employer. So you have to be safe aside and you have to safeguard yourself and be prepared for the worst case scenario. Housing arrangements. So there are Airbnb, hotel room, and many people they stay with their colleagues. So you have to see the area where it is close by to the metro station, so that you don't depend on anyone else. Like for example, if you get a call and like, okay, can you be in my office in an hour? You have to be ready and ready to go. So you should know where you can catch bus, where you can catch train, how long it will take from your place to the interview. So you should know all this. you have the knowledge so that you can answer, oh, 1 hour, it's not possible. Maybe I can reach in 2 hours because it takes this much time from my home to your office. So you should have that basic knowledge. So I would suggest to take a room or a hotel near the public transport areas. So if you're a family coming here, first of all, coming to Dubai on a visit visa with the family looking for a job is not a good idea. So I would suggest that you come alone, look for a job. After getting a job, settle down for a good 6 to 8 months, if not a year, and then plan to bring the family. Because by then you would have an idea how you should be prepared to bring a family. What are the expenses that you have to incur? How does the housing work, and so on? So don't just simply jump into it before knowing it. Then job search in the UAE and essential things to keep in mind. What you have to do, first of all, when you have to search for a job, you have to know the industry and the job market, as we discussed in the first point, right? So you should know where your profile fits in. Don't just go and say, okay, admin position or operations position, any operations job I will be applying. That's the wrong thing to do, right? As a recruiter, as an entrepreneur, when I see a CV that is not matching the profile, I will not be contacting that person. Because if I post a job today for a simple position like admin, I would receive more than 1,000 CVs, right? So CV is the only thing where we look at it and then we will see, okay, whether it's relevant or no. If it is relevant, then only we will go ahead and contact the candidates, because today's generation, nobody has the time to reply for a 1,000 profile, even if we have to say some suggestions, right? So know your value, where you fit in, and then customize the CV according to that. Understand the industry, what is in high demand. Admin can fit into an HR firm, admin can fit into, fintech, or admin can fit into a company with the marketing, right? But what are your core strengths? Read the job description, right? And then you decide to apply for the position. Okay. Tailor your CV and LinkedIn profile. So a lot of time we fail to update these, right? So what we do is just like, oh, okay, you know what? I have a CV, and that CV goes on LinkedIn, and I have updated like years ago. I don't change it. Have a new job right now, but I don't think updating the CV is required. So these are all things come in mind. So CV is you, reaching to a recruiter, but virtually. So what it has to be? It has to be current dated. It has to be updated as per the market demand, right? So if you have a CV and you have worked, let's say in India, and you have a profile custom made for whatever the segment that you're working in India, doesn't mean that matches to the UAE profile, right? So read the job description really, really carefully, because the job description is there for a reason. And when it goes to a recruiter will compare your CV and the job description. If they don't match, you won't go ahead, right? So emphasize on the relevant experience, skills. Why are you applying for the job? What value can you add for this job? And then ensure your LinkedIn profile is optimized with the keywords that recruiters search for, especially if you're into tech industry, finance, or into healthcare. Make sure that you have those keywords in your CV. At least pick 2, 3 keywords from the job description. Make sure that is there. If you have experience, then only edit the CV and then send it. Because what happens sometimes, we don't have an experience, but we are so desperate to get into a job or get to an interview level. So we modify our CV. And then when we asked a particular question and particular expertise, we fail to answer them. So don't be in that position. So edit only if you have the knowledge in that. Okay. And then job search in the UAE and essential things to keep in mind. Leverage networking and job portals. So there are plenty of job portals like, a networking platform. One is LinkedIn. And it's very, very crucial that you get in touch with the people. For example, I see a job ad today for company HR Orbz, and oh, my profile matches exactly as per the job description. What do? I apply for the job. Also, I go and connect to people who are working and who are relevant in HR Orbz. So I reach out to them and say, hey, I have applied for this position. Can you recommend me? Or can you refer me because I have this, and this. So that is one way. And there are a lot of meetups happening in the UAE, freight forwarders meetup, HR meetup, marketing meetup, sales meetup. So you can simply register online, attend that meetups. You meet a lot of like-minded people, and while exchanging ideas, they may give you a suggestion like, oh, okay, this company is looking for this position, and this position is open in this company. So that would definitely help you. Bytes, Gulf Talent, Naukri Gulf, these are the other portals where you can seek help from. But remember to update your CV, update your database properly in those job portals. And never say salary, whenever the salary part, never say negotiable, because that doesn't give any indication to the employer how much is your expectation. Give a range, maybe 4 to 10. 4 to 10 is a big gap. So 4 to 6, or 6 to 8, or 8 to 10, 10 to 12. So give these ranges where you are expecting, according to your expertise, what is it that, essential for you to live a life. And recruitment agencies can also be helpful. So try reaching out to them. There are quite a recruitment agencies who take money promising a job. Remember, no agencies can promise you a job, right? Agencies can help you to take from point A to point B. Point A would be, sourcing your CV, taking your information. Point B would be setting up an interview, right? What happens next is up to you. How you perform, how you impress the employer, and how your skills, experience, expertise matches what the employer needs. And then let's see job search in the UAE and essential things to keep in mind. So what we need to do is to understand cultural norms at workplace and etiquettes. So as I said earlier, UAE is diversified. You can see almost all the nationalities across the globe in the UAE. Some companies, they will have 40, 50 nationalities working with them. Some companies limit to 5 to 10 nationalities. But every country has different, work ethics. Every company is in a different, every person is different. Their tradition is different, their culture is different. So we have to adjust and understand that we are different, and we have to work as a team for an effective workplace, right? So this is very, very crucial in the UAE. Particularly, you have to respect all the cultures. No making fun of any culture or anyone in office or any interviews that you go. Don't be surprised that, some questions asked, and, where you have to adjust to the culture, which is quite not normal, just to accommodate every nationalities and religion. this is normal in the UAE, and which is also one of the best things of UAE, where you get to learn and meet a lot of people with different culture, and it's very diversified. And yeah, being culturally aware will also improve your interaction, which helps to adapt to the faster workplace. And be aware of salary expectation and benefits, because normally when in posting a job, in the job description, you can see the salary range, right? So just look at that, and accordingly, you decide whether you want to apply or no. For example, if a job description says the salary is only 3,500 because it's a fresher profile, and your expectation is 6, and there is no way that you will come down to 3,500, do not apply for the positions. Highly unlikely your profile gets through, right? So because it's not only competition for the skills, it's also competition for who is available at lower salary and can add same value as others. So when you are a fresher, you should know what to accept, what not to accept, what you have to start with, and where you have to be focused. So what happens sometimes, some start at a lower salary, but through the performance in the company, they grow. They grow really faster. So you have to research on the company, how the growth structure is, meet couple of employees, working in the company, get insights from them. Yes, it's a lot of homework, but sometimes it is essential to land up in the right company. Be aware of visa and work permit requirements, right? It's illegal to work in Dubai on a visit visa. So always ask your new employer to provide you a visa, work visa. So as soon as the work permit comes, then the change status happens. That means your status would change from a tourist to a potential employee. So that's when you can start working. That's when you will be considered as a legal employee in any organization. We'll talk about the documents a little later stage. Employees must provide visa sponsorship. Every company, it's their responsibility to provide you to the visa. If you're on a spouse sponsorship or a husband or father sponsorship, so what you have to do is you have to get something called labor card or work permit that you must get. Even if your visa is sponsored, you have a valid Emirates ID, it doesn't matter. In order to work for a company, the current sponsor has to give an NOC, no objection certificate, which states that they are okay with you working for company X. Okay. Okay, the important thing now, we are stepping into interview preparations. Okay. So technically, before interview preparation, it's very essential that you have the right attire for attending an interview, right? Whether it's online or it is face-to-face interview, you have to be prepared physically. Like your appearance matters, right? Even for an online interview, you don't have to wear a blazer or look like that complete a professional, but at least you have to be wearing a formal attire, okay, nicely combed. If girls, then a little makeup to emphasize on your beauty. You're already beautiful, but in the interview, it's always good to have that extra pinch to your appearance, and be confident in whatever you do, right? Whether it's from hello till goodbye, you have to maintain the same personality throughout the interview. So I would suggest, like, be yourself, but always be the best version of yourself. It's common that you get nervous, but it's okay. Everybody gets nervous, but you have to attend it, because if you make it, you will gain a lot, right? So it can change your life. So you have to be prepared for the interview. I have seen a couple of candidates, they're just there with pajamas because, oh, it's online interview, it's fine. Or I'm, carrying my phone and I'm walking in the garden background, birds chirping, there's so much noise. And some they go and sit in a restaurant. It's okay to sit in a restaurant, but make sure there's no background noise that much, there's no distraction. You're talking to a recruiter, but you're looking here, there, and getting distracted, and you're not focused. It's an immediate no, right? Because every job, any job, it needs focus, attention to detail, and well preparation for anything that you are working for. So that will be, it's like a half job done when you are, attending the interview with a good appearance or good attire. Research on the company culture. Just don't show up to the interview. If you have the website, if you don't have the website, call up the recruiter and say, hey, can I get your website? I missed the company name. Can you tell me the company name? I was looking for it, but I think I've got the wrong spelling of it. If you have not got an email, then call them and say, I have not received an email. Is the interview confirmed? Show that interest that, yes, you want to work for that company. So go online, do some research, what their company do, from how long they are in the market, what are countries they are operating in, what are their products, what is the job description. In this job description, what they are looking at, and what I have to present. How can I add value to this job? These are the questions you have to ask yourself before you even attend the interview. Like, you have to be prepared as if you are going to present a huge project in a big conference, right? Because that preparation has to be crisp. Trust me, a recruiter can figure out whether you're prepared or not. Okay, even though fake your confident, you show that you're not nervous and all okay, yeah, I've researched on the company. Interviewers can figure that out because they have been interviewing so many, and they can catch you like this. So be prepared. Prepare your interview questions, right? So at the end of the interview, a common question that an interviewer asks, do you have any questions? And don't just jump into, yeah, what is the salary? No, prepare some questions about the company that you want to ask. Oh yeah, I've gone through the website. I have seen this and this. May I know what's the plan for the next 2 years? May I know why this position is open? Is it a new position or is it a replacement? How many in my team? Whom do I report to? How is the organization structure? These are the important questions to ask, which will help the interviewers and show some interest. And, they're the good questions to ask. Keep the salary question at the end. Focus on your key strengths and experiences, right? So whatever the question they may ask, sometimes the common question is, tell me about yourself. They don't want to know where are you from, how your childhood was, right? What's your father's name, what's your mother's name? It's irrelevant for the job. So you have to introduce yourself. Keep it for 2 minutes, okay? Don't keep it too long. Keep it for 2 minutes. Prepare something where it can cover your entire brief. And it can also give them a good insight on who you are, right? So, for example, I've been working as a HR professional for the last 14 years. And currently, I am looking for a HR business partner position because I believe from the last 14 years of experience, I have a good eye on, building a HR strategy, preparing budgets and forecasting the diversity and adding value to the company. Therefore, I think, I can be a good HR business partner for the company. Or add something, if you're a marketing person, you say, my passion is social media. I've been working in the digital marketing for last 3 years, and I have increased the revenue from this to this, and I always look for ambition, innovation, using new technologies, and I have a passion towards doing market research, always seeing what is best, what is new. So these are the things that you speak, where you emphasize on your experience and expertise to the employer. So discuss your adaptabilities and technical skills as well. Speak about your past experience, cross-cultural awareness. So how, how was your last job? Was it diversified? What team you handled, or what projects you have handled? How was the project? Speak about that. Be prepared for virtual interview. Recently, people want to take online interviews first, because employers also believe in the fact that it's a waste of time to schedule a face-to-face interview, which can be done through online, as a 15-20 minutes interview where they can gauge whether you're the right person or no. And then the second round would be the face-to-face, only for those candidates who are shortlisted from the round one, which is virtual, right? So preparing for a virtual interview is also essential as face-to-face. Whatever I explain for face-to-face applies for virtual interview as well. Make sure you have got a good internet connectivity. Make sure you don't have background noise and people moving behind your back. Make sure that your video is on all the time, right? So yeah, your mic is connected. So these are all the things that you have to take care of. Prepare questions for the interviewer. It is already I have discussed with you. And also now, when you want to ask the salary details, so it will be asked at the end, or sometimes in the round one, it's common that salary details won't be discussed. So it normally has kept to be the second round or the final round. So if they do not ask you about the salary, I would insist not to ask, because just keep it for you. In the second round they would disclose, but tell them what is your expectation. When you say I expect 10,000 but negotiable, you have to be like giving a range and how negotiable you are. You don't want them to come back, oh, you said negotiable, so we offer you 4. Then you're like, no, I'm not negotiable that much. Like, no, that doesn't work, right? So be very precise, because even your time is very, very important. So be very precise on what you want, know what you want, and accordingly speak to the interviewer. And sometimes some candidates have a habit of, being overconfident more and say, when can I start? So from round one, they cannot decide when can you start, right? So the common question would be, may I know what are the other rounds of interview and when are they going to be held? So then interviewer will tell you whether there's a second round or final round, what is it? Then you will have an idea. Okay, maybe if they have not discussed the salary now, maybe it's in the second round or in the final interview. Your aim here is to give your best, okay? So understand the importance of professional etiquette. When you are at the interview, be aware of your posture, leaning or sitting like this. You have to be really, really careful of what posture you are in and how you present yourself. Some have habit of shaking legs and shaking body during, whenever you're nervous, you understand what are the signs. Be calm, because being nervous and less confident, adjusting to be showing the confidence that you don't have at the moment can create a mess. So be calm as much as you can, and because if you are calm, you can give your best. So let's look at salary package and understand salary components. In the UAE, normally there's basic salary, housing allowance, transport allowance, and some companies, they give other allowance. And then comes your total package. So normally I would suggest the basic salary would be anywhere above 60%, 60 or above. If anything is offered below, you have the room to negotiate. But as per the law, basic salary, the minimum has to be 60%, but this is below 60%. Can you increase my basic salary? Because basic salary is the component which will be used to calculate the gratuity. So that will help you a lot when you render services in the company for a longer run. And when it comes to salary package, you have to understand different industry have different things to offer, right? So if you are a person with the background of sales or business development, you would not have a high salary. In fact, you will have a basic salary plus incentives. So incentives is the room for you to bring the revenue and increase your salary to whatever you would like to, right? For example, if your salary in your mind is fixed to be 10,000, but this company is offering 6,000 plus incentives, then it's up to you to bring that revenue to the company and make it from 6 to 10 or about it, right? So you have to be very well aware of what sector you're going in. And then if you are a hospitality background, then your salary and plus you will get accommodation, transport, food. So then the package would be a little less, but it covers the other cost. So when it comes to salary, don't look at salary as just a figure, look at it as wholesome package. Salary benchmarking, there are portals like PayScale, Glassdoor, where you can go and you can put industry oriented and you can get a general idea about how the salary benchmarking is, what salary can you expect from which industry. So cost of living in the UAE, before you agree to join any company, just take a look at your cost of living versus the salary you're getting. That would give you a better idea whether to go or not for any job offer that is offered to you, or you have to negotiate it further. So let's move to documentation that you have to keep it in place. Is the certification must be attested. So in the UAE, you have to get your certificate attested and translated in Arabic through a legal translation service agency, right? So this is mandatory. So if you are looking for a job, be prepared, get your certificates attested from the UAE embassy, from the country that you studied. And then upon coming to Dubai, you have to again get it stamped from the UAE embassy in the UAE, as well as Ministry of Foreign Affairs, which we call as MOFA in the UAE. And after that, it has to be translated into Arabic. There are certain designations where you don't have to have certificates attested, but those will be clerical, reception, sales, messenger, these jobs. So because only if your education is certificate is attested, then only you will get a good designation that is available in the immigration. So documents from the previous employer, experience certificate. So wherever you have worked, you make sure you have gathered all the experience certificate from your employer. When you give a reference, make sure they are from one of the previous employer. Validity of the document. If you are a healthcare worker, there are certain certifications like BLS, ACLS, infection control. These are all have a validity of 1 year, 2 year, depending upon where it is issued from. Make sure that is updated and valid. So let's see what's the lifestyle of an employee in the UAE. Being in UAE has its own perks, right? So yeah, getting a job is at times, it's a bit tougher because we don't do a proper research on where we have to apply, where we have to focus. At the same time, when we get a job, the lifestyle matters because the quality of life in the UAE is really high. This multinational environment, there's a plus point of UAE where you get diversified attention. Work-life balance, it's very, very important when you're working in the UAE, right? So because here UAE never sleeps, right? So, by default, employees tend to work longer hours and forget to maintain the work-life balance that they are in. So when you work longer hours, make sure you have good time to sleep, be prepared for the next day. You have to have a family time, you have to have a proper weekend. So ensure that it is done because as important as the job is, your health and wellness is also important. So we tend to miss out on that part while working hard. So we have to focus on that. And it's expat friendly community. As I already mentioned, there's a lot of platforms where you can just walk in and meet new people, make new friends. It's an open platform, so make use of that. There's a strong social and professional network range. So you can attend many such activities. There are a lot of conferences going on. Just walk into the conference. There are a lot of companies representing. Go through the company website and see where you fit in, or make connections in that exhibition, conference, whatever. You make connection in that company and ask whether there's a vacancy, and if yes, then what is it, what is the procedure. There's a lot of things that you can do when you're on a visit visa. Make use of it. All right, so it's a question and answer time, guys. Do you have any question?
Preethi, would you please stop your sharing?
Yeah.
Screen share? Yeah, thank you. Okay. Preethi, I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot of people back in my home country, that's India, they look for a job when they are in India.
Yeah.
And that's when they travel for maybe interviews, or the company sends them a visa where they come and join. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
In this scenario, many times they are kind of cheated. Yeah, because they travel and then they realize it's not the right kind of job that was being offered to them, or maybe the not the right kind of visa has been given to them. So in such a scenarios, what is the legal implication to actually say that okay, you have got the right job?
Unfortunately, legal implication would not apply in there, because when you come here, if there's not a legally registered entity, you cannot actually file a case on anyone unless otherwise you know the person who has brought you here, right? So recently we had encountered such situation where a person was brought from India, and she was given a visa, and they kept her for almost a year without job. Right. And then she didn't know how to do, what to do. They even opened a company under her name and she was not aware of it. So luckily, we got hold of her, and, we had to run to the police station and, many legal places, because we were there. She could get through, she could get out of it. But a lot of scenario, they don't meet people like us who can help them, right? In that situation, they're really stuck, because one bad thing that anyone will do is give their passport to that unknown person who is not even an employer. That is not okay. So your passport is your entity, right? Your identity. So you have to take it, you have to keep it with you. And you have to ensure, like, maybe they are not aware of any platform where they can go and check the authenticity of that company who has sent visa, or but they can always, when they come to Dubai, they can always go to the immigration department and have it checked. I have received an offer letter from this, whether it's valid, is that company exists. The CID, the polices here are really, really friendly. They help in a really nice way. So this we are telling this on a personal experience with one of the person that we are helped recently, right? So she is now out of everything because they were asking her to, pull a lot of money, around 10,000 dirhams, in order to release her passport, in order to make her status legal, because her visa has expired. She was in illegal stage where she cannot even travel outside. So in this case, you have to take support of police or immigration officer or CID officer. They will help you out, but you have to go before 6 months period. If you are
क्या
filing
हुआ
a case
बिट्टू
after 6 months, then it would not
उसमें
be
थोड़ा
considered.
जिंजर डाला
So you have to go within that period so that your case will be filed and the action will be taken.
What is the scenario in such cases where um, you know you're offered a job, but the visa given is for some other designation altogether? So is it legal? Is it the right way to work in the UAE?
If we are only talking about the designation, it depends on the certification given, right? So, for example, in my company, I will have a designation people engagement specialist, but that particular designation is not registered in the immigration, hence it won't be stamped on the visa. In that case, it's an employer's responsibility to inform, see, your designation is this, but this is the available designation from the immigration, you will get this on your visa. That is fine, but it's a flag mark if you are in a high position and they give you a driver or messenger, then there is a big problem, because then there's a clash of salary benchmarking, or future consequences will be there. But as far as the employer communicates it to them, it's purely because of unavailability of that designation in the immigration, that should be fine.
Great. I see quite a few questions in the chat box. Sanya,
Mhm.
can you take this over?
Yes. The first question we have is from Ishan. What's the market demand for sustainability sector? Like, is the package good or it's not?
Ishan, it depends on what is your expertise, right? So the package, the salary package, I believe that you're talking about, it depends on designation or your skills, your expertise, right? Maybe you're in the sustainability industry, you know how that works, and then you are coming to Dubai, and here you have to have a deeper knowledge, or Dubai is 2 steps ahead in sustainability from the place where you're coming from. Then the package would be lesser, right? One thing in the UAE, like no matter how many years of experience you have in your own country, when you come here, you're still considered as a fresher. It's because you do not know about the UAE lifestyle, culture, and the company and the presence, because UAE is far ahead in sustainability, AI, digital marketing, or innovation. Yeah, far ahead. So it depends. Maybe you start, as I mentioned earlier, maybe you start at the lower package, but if you really show your interest, if you really perform well, there's a growth opportunity. Sustainability is really one of the industries that booming in UAE currently.
I think that answers Kshitij's question because he had a very similar question. If candidates have Indian experience, does company consider that or candidate has to start from the scratch?
Unfortunately, definitely your skills and experience, it is considered. But in the UAE, because of the diversity, cultural background and everything, in the company, you start as fresher, and from there you could.
The next question is from Atul. As a job seeker, which area in Dubai is cheap to stay and is close to the public transport for easy access?
Normally, people stay near Al Nahda area, which is the border of Dubai and Sharjah. Al Quoz also, but in Al Quoz, there are certain areas which is far from public transport. Dera side, Riga side, these are the areas where you have a public transport. Also, the cost of living is low, so you get rooms for lower rents. And food is also not that expensive, so you can consider those areas.
Also, the other question he had was, what's the current trend in logistics sector?
Current trend in logistics sector. I would need an elaboration on that question. But logistics sector is always booming sector. But there are a lot of companies in logistics, freight forwarding and shipping in Dubai. You mean the demand? Okay. So there are a lot of companies, there are a lot of candidates. Trust me, if I post a logistic coordinator position today, I would get minimum of 800 to 900 CVs tomorrow. And we have to close the job ad within 1 or 2 days, right? So when I say that, then definitely, the salary would be lower. Um, the only opportunity is, for the sales industry, where you already have a current strong client database, and you're pretty sure that you can, bring a revenue of 4 or 5 times of your salary. Then yes, there's a high demand for that candidate.
The next question we have is from Aryan. What's the average cost of living in Dubai?
That depends on where you stay. So I would say anything between 2 to 2.5 thousand would be the average cost.
Do we have any more questions? If not, I had a question. What is the most common mistake that people usually make, especially in their CVs and interviews?
Sorry.
What is the most common mistake that people usually do when it comes to CVs and their interviews?
The most common mistakes that they do is not to mention important details. Like for example, they will put a brief, but in the CV, they will, not mention the region that they work for, the duration that they work for, right? Some they change job very frequently, which automatically get rejected. But sometimes there is a valid reason for it to be getting rejected. So in that case, it's better to mention company closure or loss of job due to COVID. Give some one liner so that the employer understands the job change is not just for fun, but it happened for a valid reason. Always mention your date of birth, your nationality, what's your current visa status, whether you have a driving license or no. It's not required to mention your passport number, your father's name, mother's name, your home country address is not required. But you have to mention your visa status. Availability is very important. And when applying for, by your Naukri Gal, you should not mention always whenever the salary shows negotiable, right? We as a recruiter, sometimes we don't contact the person because we don't know what could be the salary range, or will it be high? Will we waste our time just talking to this person, right? So always mention an expected salary range, because what is the use, right? Even if they pick up a call and call you, and if it is not within that range, you're not going to get through. So that would save a lot of time for you, for the recruiter. And don't make your CV too, what you call colorful. It's not a restaurant menu. It's a professional brief of yourself. Your CV is you going in front of a recruiter. So think in that way. So your CV should be neat, clean. Don't use different fonts. Don't use different colors. Always put a picture of yourself so that the interviewer know you already. It's not because only if you're beautiful you are getting hired. No, it's always better to have a picture. Everybody is beautiful in their own way, right? Sometimes beauty doesn't matter when it comes to skills and expertise. So, but it's always a good site to put a picture, to a profile, just to put a face to a name.
Got questions from Kshitij. Which is the best platform to get a job when it comes to Dubai?
Which is the best platform to get a job? There are multiple job portals like Naukri Gulf, Gulf Talent, Indeed, and Bayut, BAYT. So these are the portals. I think anybody who is looking for a job should register in all this portal so that they get opportunity in anywhere.
The next question we have is from Atul. Can we extend our visit visa from UAE itself?
Sometimes yes, but it's within country. It's only 1 month validity, and you end up paying about 1,000 odd dirhams. And if you exit and come back, it is a package, including the ticket. You will be spending about 1,400 dirham. Like just in 300, you will get 1 more month validity. So I always suggest to exit and come back.
Also, what is the ideal number of pages for a CV?
If your experience is too much, then I would say keep it to 2.5 page. But you are like having 3 to 4 years of experience and have not worked in different industries and different areas, keep it to 1 page. Normal CV would consist like, the quarter of the page would be your details and your expertise, your achievements, and then the brief and the duration. That would be ideal.
Okay, one last
Some
question.
have this misunderstanding that longer the CV, higher the chances of getting through. No, that is wrong. We do read the CV and we do understand what is it exactly that you do. It doesn't matter whether the CV is 1 page, 2 page, 3 page.
Another question is, can you brush upon a bit for the freelance visa and the work visa? Like, would it be advisable to come to Dubai and if you're supposedly looking for a job while side by side doing freelance work? Would it be advisable to get a freelance visa and then convert it to a work visa? Or how would
Yes.
it go?
Yes, that's a good idea as well. If you have that financial capacity to go for a freelance visa, I think it would cost about 6 to 7,000 dirhams, if I'm not wrong, plus health insurance. So then you can go for it. Working part-time in the UAE is legal. All you need to provide is an NOC. And you can, tie up with the agencies as well. A lot of agencies are looking for part-timers. There's a lot of instances when part-timers turn to full-time employee, or there are a lot of chances that, there's a contractual term duration for employment. Say a company is looking only for a maternity cover. So only for 3 months, they are looking for somebody to replace someone in the company. But you end up working or performing really well, and then you get your employment status changed to permanent. So that opportunity will also be there. So all it depends, UAE doesn't stop you from working as a part-timer. You can work as a part-timer. That also gives you an insight already before you enter into a job, like how is the lifestyle, how is work, what you have to do. So yeah, that's a really good idea.
So you had mentioned that on a visit visa you cannot work.
Sorry?
Correct? You mentioned on the visit visa you cannot work. Is that correct?
That's right.
Is it the same for again on a visit visa? Are you not allowed to do freelance work as well?
Correct. On visit visa, you cannot do. Visit visa is your status is only as a visitor, right? So you are working as a legal, and the company who has employed you or given you a freelancer or part-time opportunity is also not doing it legally.
Do we have any more questions?
And recently, I have seen companies asking for minimum 30 days validity before they process their visa, which is kind of common. So in that thing, they will consider the initial duration as a training period. It will be unpaid most commonly. And once the change status is done, it is turned as employment.
Okay, great. If we have no other questions, we can wrap it up.
Yep.
Oh, wait. Aryan has a question. Aryan, would you like to type it or would you like to say it out loud? Okay. Aryan says, if someone wants to join as a worker but later on changes to freelance. How does the process go?
It depends how friendly is the company, because company would have spent already a good amount of money to employ you, with your visa, your health insurance, and so on. Cancel that also, there are some expenses. So the company can ask you to cover all those expenses, and some companies they directly deny, and some companies, this kind of conversation would go into parting ways. So it depends on your relation with the company. How is it? If you're okay to pay all the visa cost and change to freelancer and still opt to work with the company, there might be certain agreement that you have to sign, and then it should be okay. If not, then they will ask you to part ways.
Okay, let's take this opportunity to wrap up. And if you do have any more questions, you can directly get in touch with our number through WhatsApp. So
Yeah.
thank you, Ms. Preethi, for such an amazing insight. Of course, you've got a lot of knowledge through this session. And of course, all our participants and audience today, whoever have gone through the entire session with us here, hopefully you will make it to Dubai. Maybe you get to meet Ms. Preethi face to face. Of
Certainly.
course, the session is recorded, and for those who did miss out or was not able to hear parts of it, you'll be able to see this entire session on YouTube. And of course, for those who want to see from the start to the end, it will be available. As if I've not mentioned it before, these sessions do take place every month. So do come and join us, and it will help you take your skills, your professional and personal lives to a next level. To be part of our WhatsApp group, the link will be shared with you, whether through the chat or via email. It will be sent. And thank you, everyone. I hope you have a lovely weekend.
Thank you, 4C. It's a great initiative that you have taken to share knowledge and to help people who can gain from this kind of session a lot. And kudos to you guys, and I wish all the best for all the future sessions to shine bright.